am Rosemary Ferguson. I am a qualified nutritionist and naturopath, and I'm really here today to talk about the gut, what foods help the gut, fermented foods, fibre, one of my favourite things, fibre, and to talk a bit about why the gut is so important when and how it affects our entire health, not just what we eat. So when we talk about the gut, I usually talk, people always say you are what you eat, but actually you are what you absorb. So it doesn't really matter what you eat or what supplements you chuck down your throat. If you're not absorbing what you're eating, then it doesn't really matter what you eat. It doesn't matter the quality or anything. Your gut needs to be working really efficiently in order to help you break down what you put in your mouth and use it to the best of its ability. And it will, and your gut really does, it's where your immune system is, it's what creates your happy hormone, serotonin, 90% is created in your gut. So it's really, really, I can't tell you how crucial it is for your gut to be working well, for you to feel well. So what you eat, different diets can affect the gut in that, people, if you eat very high sugar, if you eat low fibre, things that irritate the gut, so things like alcohol, gluten, coffee, sugar, there are certain things that if you eat a lot of them, they can really irritate the gut, and that makes the gut, they call it leaky gut, but it can mean that the gut lining becomes slightly holey, and so bits of food get through into the bloodstream that shouldn't, and that creates an immune response, and that can make you feel like you have brain fog, bloating, achy joints, flatulence. It can really make a big difference, and you might not think. You might sort of have symptoms that you can't relate to the gut, that you don't relate to the gut, but actually they are because your gut isn't working very well. So things like whole foods are really important. Eating really, things like cabbage are great for that. I just think of cabbage because it's got something called glutamine in it, which is brilliant for the gut lining. So you are, eating a really whole food diet, high in fibre, high in fresh vegetables and fruit is really key to feeling well. So fibre is one of my big things that I love talking about, because I think we eat something like 25%, as a population, we eat 25% of the fibre that we should. We used to eat so much more fibre, but now we sort of eat a very, less fibrous diet. So fibre is really key. Fibre helps our whole system move faster, it does really help your gut move in the transition time through to elimination, move faster. It helps also to remove bad things from the body. So things like excess hormones, toxins, things, like alcohol or additives or things that aren't meant to be pollutants. Fibre is what helps to bind to those and remove them from the body. So fibre is really, really key. And you get fibre from whole grains. The fact that we take off the shell of things like rice and end up with white rice and white flour and all the husks of things, those are the bits of fibre that really help our body move, the gut motility move faster. So fermented food is very popular. We hear about it a lot at the moment. It's a real buzzword. And actually the reason fermented foods are so brilliant for us is because the process of breaking it down has started already in the jar or in the bottle. So it's where we allow the bacteria to start breaking down the food for us, so that when we eat it, it helps our own bacteria thrive. And so fermented foods, things like, I love kombucha, and some people don't, or kimchi, but you can do it at home. That's the other thing that's quite exciting about fermenting foods, is you can ferment at home. So I think it's a really interesting area of food, and it's really helpful for our digestion. So when we talk about the gut and the health of the gut, we're really talking a lot about the bacteria that we find in the gut, which is also known as the microbiome. Now, we have a microbiome everywhere. We have it in our brain, on our skin. Everywhere has a bacterial colony in it, which helps its natural health. And when we're talking about the microbiome of the gut, we're talking about the gut that you find throughout the alimentary canal. So the microbiome is really, really important, and it can be in good health, and we can do things to encourage good health, and we can also eat things and do things that make it more challenging for it to be healthy. So there are things that we can't really control, things like pollution, stuff in the water, stress, all those things impact negatively the gut, but also what we eat does. So things like that, what I would call irritants, and it can change from person to person. Not everybody has the same irritants. For example, some people can tolerate gluten really well, others can't. Some people can tolerate onions really well, others can't. So, you know, you have to be a bit mindful of your own microbiome. What do you respond to? What works well for you? But in general, things that are not great for our microbiome, I would start with sugar. Refined sugar is not great for us, and we eat way too much of it. And then there are other things. Coffee, 1 coffee a day is fine, but if you're drinking 6 or 7, not so great. Dairy can be something that creates issues for some people. You know, the big ones, and then there's also wheat can cause problems for some people. And I do emphasize it's for some people, it is not the same for everyone. So don't just cut out a food group unless you are sure that it's not working for you. But those are probably the biggest irritants and alcohol, sorry. Those are the biggest irritants, I would say, that the microbiome struggles with. So hydration for the gut, I mean, hydration is just key for everything. You know, if you're tired, you know, people sort of say, I'm really tired. First stop is, are you drinking enough water or herbal tea? You know, and this doesn't mean you can drink Coca-Cola. It doesn't count. So hydration is really important. The microbes in your gut that we're talking about, these little bacteria need to be hydrated. And then, you know, there are things actually about hydrating. Perhaps if you're eating food, try not to hydrate, you know, don't drink water right when you're about to eat the food because you dilute your stomach acid. But around meal times, make sure you're taking on board water constantly. And it's not about just drinking like a litre of water in one go. You know, just make sure you're taking on a constant drip of water all day long. I think the rule of thumb when it comes to eating good food for your gut health is a bit of balance. You know, just eat a little bit of everything. I think, okay, when I say a bit of everything, let's be clear what I mean. A bit of everything, I mean fresh, whole grain. You know, it's not rocket science to know when you're eating something decent for your body. You know, but then also you can have, variety is really key. Variety for your gut is really, really key. So you want to have a wide variety of veg, a wide variety of proteins, a wide variety of good fats, so olive oils, avocados, you know, a wide variety of good foods will really help because your microbes thrive. It means that there are different ones feeding on different things. And also, you know, as I said, stress can really affect your gut. So if it's nice to have a glass of wine on a Friday night, have a glass of wine on a Friday night. But it is just about balance and a wide variety, I would say, is the key. I think that the 3 top tips I would say are to eat a variety of foods. Like think about a rainbow of veg. Really try and include as many different types of fresh foods as you can. That would be a really key one. I also think that using a really good probiotic is key. I mean, I'm a fan of doing a probiotic course once every 6 months to give, you know, you have your own microbiome. It is 100% unique. No one has the same microbiome as you. And no probiotic can fulfill all those microbes, but they definitely help to create a colony where it can thrive. The colony can thrive. So that's why I would say that. And also to think about prebiotic foods. So things like onions and garlic and fennel, they are all really useful to help your bacteria colony grow. So I hope that gives you some insight into how to eat for your gut. And remember, you are not just what you eat, you are what you absorb.